Here's President Trump reacting just a short time ago. He's at the United Nations, of course. Here's what he said.
Convicted and guilty. What is your response?
Well, I'm very appreciative of the justice that was given and the way it was handled by Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche and everybody that it's been, and their team of people. It was really well handled, and it's very important. You can't let things like that happen. Nothing to do with me, but a president or even a person. You can't allow that to happen. And so justice was served, and we'll see what happens. But I very much appreciate the judge and jury and everybody on that. It was so professionally handled, and it's a great honor.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
I'm going to bring in attorney, retired NYPD inspector, and Fox News contributor Paul Morrow joining our coverage now as we do know that the verdict is in. We are awaiting that, Paul. I want to get your thoughts as I play out this sound from, speaking of bizarre moments, as Jonathan was just detailing, this sound from his daughter, Ruth's daughter, as she was exiting the courtroom there in Fort Pierce, Florida yesterday. Listen.
Were you surprised he didn't want to take the stand in his own behalf?
No, why would he do that when they've been bullying him at every turn and making up and lying and fabricating evidence? And yeah, why would he take that risk when no one's being honest or in the courtroom and everything's against him? So.
All right, so Fox News alert in here. We've got the verdict is in, guilty on all charges. Count one so far, we know guilty unanimously. Paul, get your reaction here as we await more information from the courtroom.
So let's go back to the egg here in the aftermath of the incident. A lot was done right here. I know there were questions about how he got so close to then candidate Trump, but in the wake of what occurred, you had a witness step up who really held up, took a very, very smart look at the car, the plate, had a very good look at Ruth. And then who you're not hearing a lot about in building this case and bringing him into custody is the Martin County Sheriff's Office, who managed to get him pulled over. They did what's called a felony car stop, got him out of the car peaceably, back up in a way that nobody is in danger. They took him into custody, and some of that is on tape. It's on the body cam, it's on the dash cam. They then brought the witness there. They call it a show up. That holds up constitutionally because they didn't bring the accused to the witness, but vice versa, which is the right way to do it. All of these things are things that are going to come up at trial and can be challenged. In this case, it went right from the get-go in the aftermath, and as a result, that narrative that Jonathan Turley is talking about was easy to construct for DOJ. I'm not saying it was simple, but they had a lot to work with. They made a compelling narrative that creates the picture, the storyline in the mind of the jurors, and obviously that was so compelling that in 3 hours they were able to come back guilty, all counts.
So you were following this, Paul, and the fact that the jury found that he was guilty on the count of attempted assassination of the president, when he was trying to make the case that, oh no, I didn't have it in my heart to pull the trigger, and B, the gun that I had wouldn't have shot him from that distance anyways. Let's not forget, though, that it would appear, based on where he had secreted himself, that he was waiting for President Trump to come up to the green on the 6th hole, which would only have been a couple of dozen yards away. But he was trying to make the jury believe this idea that he was a man of peace, he couldn't commit violence, he was just there for some reason with a rifle,
you just can't
and a bunch of ammunition. Clearly, the jury didn't give that argument much credence at all.
No, in essence, the crux of his defense, to the extent that there was a crux, was that, hey, I didn't mean it, I'm a nice guy, and nice guys don't do these sorts of things. And then also that the gun was inoperable, and that was the one expert witness that he called was a gunsmith, and this ballistics expert came out and did a test firing on the gun twice, and both times the gun fired the first time. So his own expert witness really damaged his case that he was just there to observe or something. 9 hours in a sniper's nest waiting for President Trump. The note that said, if you're reading this, I have failed to kill President Trump. I have $150,000 for whoever manages to finish my mission. And that's something that, it's outside the contours of the case, but I think a lot of us have questions about where did he get all this money? He moves to Hawaii, he's in Ukraine, then he offers $150,000 reward for executing Donald Trump. I have a little bit of question about where all this money originated. Apparently there was some transfers that DOJ managed to track. I think that's another shoe to drop in this thing that I'd like to see buttoned up. But at the end of the day, his defense seems to be have been so half-hearted that you almost get the sense he wants to set himself up as some kind of a martyr. What I see coming here now are manifestos written from prison. He's going to set himself up as some kind of guy who was trying to speak truth to power, because it's very hard to see how anybody, any sentient human being, could have found him not guilty on these 5 counts.
Yeah, it's interesting. President Trump's just wrapping his meeting with the Ukrainian President Zelensky at the UN. It'll be interesting to see if we get fresh reaction from the president, considering this news just came in. It was about 2 hours of deliberation, getting some of the details from the courtroom.
And now we have this. Let's jump into this. You just can't make this up.
Dana Marie McNichol, who's live outside the courthouse. And Dana Marie, do we know the timing of the reading of the verdict at this point?
John, I just have a lot of breaking news in terms of the sequence of what happened right after the verdict was read. Now, it is quite shocking. As the verdict was read, it appeared to our producers inside the courtroom that Ruth tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen. That's what it appeared to look like. Then 4
You coward wussy. You coward punk.
marshals dragged him out of the courtroom, took his coat off. They then shackled him at the waist and ankles, and then they brought him back into the courtroom. So again, this just in from our producers, as the verdict was being read, Ruth tried to hurt himself in the neck with a pen. Now we just saw that emotional reaction from that daughter, and now we know exactly why. So when Ruth was brought back into the courtroom, that's when her daughter stood up, started yelling and screaming. She said to her father, "Don't do anything. I'm going to get you out of here." This is what our producers are telling us just into the newsroom. She also screamed many expletives, and that's when we saw her run out of the courtroom. The video that we were seeing just moments ago of her not wanting to speak with the media, her evading the media, and then running off camera, as you see there. So just very, very shocking news. Our producers are still inside learning, hoping to get more. But after he appeared to hurt himself, he was then brought in by those marshals, John. So we're tracking this breaking news very, very closely and looking to see what comes next.
All right. For a man to contend, Ruth's son. Oh, yeah, here apparently is Ryan Ruth's son leaving. Doesn't seem to be quite in the same state of mind as his sister was. But, for a man who says he's incapable of violence, to try to stab himself in the neck would seem to run counter to that argument. Again, we saw the daughter run out. She was screaming expletives. She was clearly upset at what had transpired. She believed that her father was innocent. Whether or not she believed everything that he said, or she just held that belief from the beginning, we don't know. But these are the children of Ryan Ruth.
Obviously, John, learning the details of how Ruth reacted obviously gives more color to their reaction. They all, as children, as his children, the daughter and the son, just witnessed their father clearly take a pen and try to stab himself in the neck. What they witnessed obviously was very difficult for them. But we obviously are waiting on more details to come out of that courtroom. But Paul, the picture that we are hearing happened after the verdict was read was really something. Reading it directly from here, as the verdict was read, Ruth appeared to try to stab himself in the neck with a pen before the U.S. Marshals had to restrain him.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.